Wait, what? Well, challenge accepted. Hello everyone, and today we're doing some crazy Weakaura, but there's a lot of things to do and not nearly enough time to do it. So I'm gonna just completely skip the intro and get into it, and I'm gonna try to explain here what's happening. So yes, after all of Eneia's text and everything that he said, essentially we have to know that we have a trinket that's on, right? So if I attack the dummy, I have this trinket that activates, but let's say you got this trinket and you need to know whether the cast time of your Chaos Bolt is worth to start it or not, because will the trinket still be on? Because if you throw the Chaos Bolt after the trinket goes off, or just a millisecond after the trinket goes off, then your Chaos Bolt damage is basically wasted, and you could have done so much more damage in other things or other abilities. That shouldn't be too hard to do. The problem is that this Backdraft that we get right here makes our casts faster, but also makes our Chaos Bolt, if you see, it's like 1.8 or 1.9, but if I lose just one stack of these, it still says on the tooltip that does 1.9, but let me get it again. So if I use one Incinerate, it still says on the tooltip it's 1.98, but the reality is it's actually 2.8. So this is, well, it should say on the tooltip how much it actually should be the cast between the stacks, and this now is an issue. So the way we're gonna do this, and again I'm just gonna speed really fast, but yeah, there's gonna be, I'm gonna probably make what, a group Chaos Bolt Calculator, and inside this group I'm gonna make what am I gonna make? I'm gonna make an icon, and I'm probably gonna make this icon is just gonna be trinket is up, and then now I'm gonna make another Weakaura that's just gonna be a text, because why not? We want to see basically whether the cast is fast or not. So let's just call this one Chaos Bolt cast time, and the next one let's just call that one also a text, by the way. Oops, that's a texture. Convert it to text real quick, and that's gonna be just a Chaos Bolt Calculator. All three of these Weakauras. So let's start with the easiest one. This one is just gonna be the trinket. What was it? Let's see. Okay, there we go. So this trinket is called Surge of Conquest. So we make a Weakaura with this one, and this Weakaura is just gonna be player buff name exact. It's gonna be Surge of Conquest. Okay, so that's done. The display is gonna be very simple. We're just gonna show the progress, and the progress is gonna be in the format of 0 with that precision, and the anchor is gonna be in the center. And we can make the text a little bit bigger, like a 20. So right now we have that Weakaura done, and that's just gonna be essentially our yeah, ignore those texts because I haven't done anything with them. But that's eventually just going to be our Weakaura, just shows, and that's the timer of the trinket. We can also make it a little bit cuter here with making this go with the show cooldown, and that's done. Now, if I'm going into the cast time, and right now I'm going to have to... So what am I actually going to do here? The cast time, and that's another thing I didn't mention in the Weakaura, is that he also wants 1.15 seconds of, well, 0.15 for human error to add that up. I will probably add like half a second for human error, but because he asked 0.15, I'm actually gonna put 0.15 exactly, but anyone who's doing this and replicating it, feel free to decide, like human error, you want to put like 5, so 0.5, then you can do that. So the way we're going to do this, it's also the trigger is also going to be the buff, and the buff is also going to be Surge of Conquest. I'm going to do the same here. It's also Surge of Conquest. And right now the displays are going to be custom coded, both of them. And yes, so what am I going to do here? Let's start with the cache time first. So the cache time, we're going to do... We're gonna go, we're gonna do this in, so basically here we're gonna do it every frame, and we're gonna open this up and start coding. So we're gonna do a function, we're not importing anything special here, and now we're just gonna create a bunch of variables. So we want a variable here, let's call it cast time, and we want a variable where we're gonna get the cast time fixed. And the cast time fixed, you will see why we have a variable called cast time fixed. I mean, I can probably show you right now. If I do /dump get spell info, and the spell is called Chaos Bolt, I can probably show you now. Let me do this. I can show you that right now that Chaos Bolt is showing that the timer that it takes to cast is 2833. So 2.833, which we don't want it in this setup. So we want it in another setup, and we need to fix it with some math, and that's what we're gonna do. Oh, I actually forgot to save that. So really quick, function and cast time, and let's just say that the cast time is gonna be equal to select. We're gonna select the value 7 here out of this, and that's gonna be 7 out of get spell info of Chaos Bolt, and double parentheses because we need to get the select inside as well. So that's the cast time. The cast time fixed is something that we need to do a little math here, because it's going to be exactly equals to cast time, but we're going to divide it by 1000, because we're getting in that scenario, and now we're going to get 2.833. We also want to add the human error here. So after dividing this, we're gonna sum 0.15 that Eneia asked. So if you want to make it half a second, you'll do 0.5, but he wants 15, so let's make 0 plus 15. Now we need to get the expiration date of the trinkets. So let's expiration time. So that's, expiration time. Yeah, we're gonna get expiration time, and we're gonna do a similar thing here. We're gonna do the select. That's gonna be also the 7 out of unit buff. And now it's from the player, and the buff is called Surge of Conquest. And we close the select. So as you can see, let's close this now, and actually, that should be fine. But I want to do proc the trinket here, and if after I proc the trinket, if I'm fast enough, I want to do, there we go. So I want to do /dump, and now it's the unit buff. I'm not gonna be fast enough, I think. I can't even type. So it's player and Surge of Conquest. So I actually got it, nice. So as you can see, that's our Surge of Conquest here. So as I was saying, the 7 argument is the expiration time. We can check it here, where we get all this stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Number 7 is the expiration time, and that's when the expiration time of this buff is gonna happen. So right now we have our expiration time, and now if we keep going, we need to set the stacks of Backdraft, and that's just gonna be I'm gonna call it stacks. That's gonna be equals to, we're gonna select the number 4. Again, I'll show that in a second. of unit buff, and it's from the player, and the name of the spell is Backdraft. Right there, and double close it. So why did this not correctly work? That's a good question. Oh, yeah, I was missing some quotes here. Anyway, why is it number 4? Because if we go again to our unit buff here, number 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, count is stacks, and we can test this as well. So if I were to do something like, let's say instead of this, backdraft, and actually go here, just get some backdraft, and the number 4 is 3. Now if I do another one and do it again, the number 4 is 6, that's 6 stacks. So yeah, that's just our stacks. Anyway, back to our Weakaura. We've done all these variables, we've gotten everything. Now it's time to get into the thinking behind all of these. So we need to say in if statements that if certain stacks are active, because the backdraft doesn't have the tooltip information that we can go get and all that stuff, we need to know that whether we are in 1, 2, 3, 4 or such stacks. Like in reality, all we need is to know whether we're at 1 stack, 2 stacks, or 3 and higher. So it's whether we're on 1 or 2, or we're 3, 4, 5 or 6. So let's start with that. So if stacks equals 1 or stacks equals 2, then now what we need to do here is see our remaining time as well. So if expiration time minus get time is a function that checks the time for us. If that is bigger, then we're gonna do a couple math here. So I'm opening because there's 3 counts in it. So cast time plus sorry, as I was saying, instead of time plus, it's gonna be times. The only reason I'm taking breaks here is because I've done this Weakaura already, so right now I'm just recreating it, and sometimes I kind of forget what I already did in the past. So we're gonna multiply this by 1.428, and whatever this value means is just basically, think about it this way. When we get 1 or 2 stacks, it tells us that our cast time is 1.98, and wherever we reduce, the percent chances affects our the percent chances that affects our cast is going to be a certain amount. And if you actually reverse engineer what's happening with those 20 or 30% that you're reducing with Backdraft, then the reality is you need to multiply it. I just did some math until I got here, but I found that I had to multiply it by this number, and by multiplying by this number, I get the original number of the cast time. So if all of this does not make sense, it's basically like if we're on 1 or 2 stacks, the tooltip is still saying that our chaos bolt is 1.98 seconds. And right now we need to tell our program here that that's not true. It's just a bug. So what we're gonna do is multiplying that 1.98 by whatever number you need to multiply, aka this number, to get the original cast time when you don't have any stacks. If that makes any sense. But yeah, anyway, we're gonna get that, and then we're gonna have to divide by 1000 because we wanna get that formatting of text. And on top of that, we wanna add our 0.15 from our human error. Then what we're gonna do here is we're gonna just set a variable. It can be anything. I'm just gonna call it A. A is gonna be equals to cast time plus 1.428. Yes, and then we're gonna divide that by 1000. And right now, what we have is the final result. now what's going to print, we're eventually going to do printing this A, but what's going to happen here is that this A is now going to return a number that is our, basically, it's just basically our cast time plus what we've done here, so we get an accurate depending on our stacks, if that makes sense. Anyway, the point is, now we're going to return it, and we're going to do a string.format, by the way. And that string.format, I'm going to do this, so I get the format I want. I'll explain that in a second. Alright, so what is this string.format %2.f, whatever this means, and then A? It's just basically telling me, I just want to tell to the program, hey, whatever I'm returning here, this A is gonna be in the following format. If I go here, you can check the string.format. If I were to just leave like that, then it will show like that many, and so on and so on. And I use this one instead here, which is the 2f. The 2 float. It's basically just telling the program this is a float. Float is like a decimal number with multiple digits, but I just want to keep 2 digits, so it's gonna 3.14, for example. It's actually what's gonna show. So it's just gonna show whatever the cast time with 2 decimal spots, basically. And now, on top of all of this, because I've done this, I can just end, and right now we have our Weakaura. Like the basis of our Weakaura pretty much done. So if I were to do a bunch of ends here, you'll see, wait, I actually missed something here. Oh, okay, I see where I went wrong. I didn't put a parenthesis here after this. So I have one end too much, but now, yeah, now it's perfect. So I'm not gonna do that. I actually have other things to do here. So I'm just gonna leave one end because I just finished that. And right now we're gonna do another if statement, and we're gonna check if the expiration time minus the get time, it's actually smaller. And now we're gonna check. So this is me still inside the one, whether we have 1 stack or 2 stacks. And right now I've checked if our expiration time minus the time, then that's just basically remaining time, right? If that remaining time is bigger than everything else, I'm gonna return this. Now I need to check whether it's smaller, and that's what I'm doing here. So whether it's smaller, then we're just gonna do a variable called b, let's say, and it's gonna be very similar. So, and we're gonna end again because we just finished this check of whether we're on 1 or 2 stacks. Now if I were to do this, our code works in the sense of it only works if we have 1 or 2 stacks, but we need to check other scenarios. Now we need to check if our stacks is actually equals to 3, or stacks equals to 4, or stacks equals to 5, or stacks equals to 6. Only then I can check if expiration So, what does this mean? So we're checking if the expiration time, and the expiration time is the debuff, whether the debuff is about to run out, minus get time. Again, this is just the remaining time. If the remaining time is bigger than the fixed time. What is fixed time? It's the cast time with the human error. But now, I'm just checking, because it already has the human error, I don't need to put the human error again, so I'm doing this just to check if this is basically like, so we can compare. And if that's the case, then all I have to do here is just return Alright, that's beautiful, right? Now we need, just like we did before, we need to do the same thing, but if it's smaller. So again, I'm just gonna make it like D. Space, and here D is gonna be like that, and D like that. So everything is the same, just need to swap a couple of things, the signs and all that stuff. And yeah, and now I've done D. So now we can end it one more time. So we're done with checking the stacks, and now, because we've done the situation, this is just basically to treat stacks. So let's actually use a comment here, and the comment is gonna say we are checking if we have 1 or 2 stacks, and here this is like whether it's bigger or smaller. And now here we are checking if we have stacks that are bigger than 3 or that are bigger than 2, and 2 not included, right? So now what we need to do is we are checking when we don't have any stacks of backdraft. So right now, and this is just commands, you don't actually have to type this in your code, it's just, yeah, it doesn't matter. But yeah, but all of this now, I just need to do here is basically, like most of it is just basically the same. If the expiration minus get time fixed time fixed equals to time fixed minus and format percent f and now check if expiration time minus get time expiration time time fixed then f equals time fixed minus and now format and percent f and now we end, and yeah, that's done. So let's make this text here. Let's make this text like 20. And let's position it a little bit to the left. Doesn't need to be too much, on 50, something like that. So let's see. Sorry, that shows the time of our cast, right? So if I use backdraft, oh, now nice. Okay, we actually get a mistake here. So we have 3 stacks. Okay, so on 6 stacks it shows a bug. So what if we have 2 stacks? Ooh, interesting. Alright, let's see. Okay, so immediately I see I made some mistakes here. Like for example, here is plus, it should be times. Here is plus, no, that's times, right? Yes, that's times. And what else have I made a mistake? So I obviously mistype here, expiration time. Man, that dyslexia is kind of fucked up, man. Yeah, expiration time. So it's really good that I made these mistakes. So you get to see that you're gonna have, like, sometimes when you do this, you're gonna make mistakes, and you're just gonna have to look at it with a second set of eyes and just try to look for typos and stuff, not necessarily appearing here an error message, but this type of things, expiration time, yeah, it should work now. But yeah, this type of thing, it just, yeah, it's just, it sucks when you can't find it fast, man. It's all I can say. So we're gonna do a couple of casts here. That's 283, fine, that's beautiful. Now, should I do this? It's 183. Let me lose 1 stack, see if it updates to the old one. It's actually the 3, it's just rounding up. So we actually don't want it to round. Actually, it's rounding up because we have the human error. Alright, so this is my bad. So if I want to include the human error, then I will remove this. Right now I'm not removing human error. So if I were to keep the human error, I would do this. So I was mistaken before when I said I had it, so I want to do it again. Yeah. Logics went wrong a little bit, but you get the point anyway. Right now I wish I had the proc of this damn trinket. Okay, here we go. So this is with human error. And now if I were to cast one, that's again with human error, because it's no longer that value. And now let's say I get a bunch more, it's updated and it still contains the human error. This is beautiful, okay? This is exactly what I want. So now I actually want it a bit closer. Okay, so we're gonna make 75 here. 75. Just so we get a little bit, maybe make it -10, so it goes a bit down. Yeah, and that's beautiful. That's what I want to see. Now, I want to see another thing here. I want the Weakaura to tell me yes or no. With red or green, can I cast it? Or should I cast it? And that's going to be here, this calculator. And this calculator here, it's going to do a lot of what we've been doing here. And for that case, all we have to do is basically, I'm gonna go through it quite fast, but yeah, feel free to pause here and just look at things. But it's gonna use a lot of things from the previous Weakaura. So we're gonna check the cast time, and the cast time it's equals. Actually, I can do the same variables here. So I don't wanna type all of this. So we're gonna copy all of it, and we're gonna go here, and we're gonna do function, and we're gonna do that. This is also, by the way, every frame. Now we're gonna check if the stacks, if stacks equals 1 or stacks equals 2, then we're gonna check if expiration time minus get time is bigger than the cast time times the 1 for, oops, times 1.428, and we're gonna divide that by 1000, and we're gonna add the human error, obviously, and then we're gonna return, and I have the code here, but I've showed in the past how to get color codes. We're gonna get CFF. This is just the color code for green, by the way, 00FF00, and then the word yes in caps, and we're gonna close this like that, and we're gonna end. Right now we're gonna check again if the expiration time minus get time is actually smaller than cast time times 1.8, and we're gonna add 1000, and we're gonna add the 0.15 for human error, and finally we're gonna return color codes. We don't know. No, it's still here, so it's nice. And now, we check again if stacks equals 2, 3, or stacks equals 4, or stacks equals 5, or stacks equals 6, and if expiration time minus get time is bigger than cast time fixed, then we're gonna return yes. And but if expiration time minus get time is smaller than cast time fixed, then we're gonna return no, and that's. And finally, we also now just need to do if expiration time minus get time is smaller than cast time, it's bigger than cast time fixed, then we're gonna return yes. Just do that. And finally, if this is here, I'll just do it. If let's check for the corresponding to that. So it's smaller, and there's the stacks here. So this should be pretty much it. Now we're gonna do this word a little bit bigger, and we're probably gonna put it above the Weakaura. Let's put 50 above the Weakaura. I don't know how much value I need to put, but let's see. Actually, I shouldn't start with the Chaos Bolt, but whatever. So let's just get the Trinket proc here. I really don't want... Yes. So it shows yes. I just don't want to use Backdraft yet, Backdraft, but look now, if I use Backdraft, nothing changes because it's still remaining time, but should I do this? And I'll just check when it puts no, and I put yes, you saw how it went yes for a second and back to no. It just shows that it recognizes that the bonus of Backdraft is up. So right now we have a beautiful Weakaura that recognizes when we should start a cast with human hair for our Chaos Bolt. We have the cast time on the left, and we have a word saying whether it's up or not, and also the trinket cast. We could make this all bigger and stuff, but as you see, we get that, our time updates, and right now it goes no because of, yeah, it's not worth to send it anymore, and all that stuff. So, that being said, I think we're done. I actually think we're done. So, if you'd like a little bit more tuning, instead of 0.15, you'll make it bigger for the human hair and stuff. But hopefully the logics are all there. Hopefully everyone understood everything. I'm also not great at explaining this because I myself took a lot of time to do this Weakaura. But my hair is, because the progression for Throne of Thunder started, I kind of ignored this. I should have done this before, because I made the Weakaura before, like 2 weeks before, and I should have just, or like a week before, and I should have just straight up did this video, but I got caught up with Throne of Thunder, and now Throne of Thunder's been up. We did some bosses, and I have nothing to do at the moment, so I decided to make this video that I was postponing, and that just basically led me to now look at my code and be like, hey man, why did I do this? But and second guess my code. But the reality is, the functionality is there. So this basically tells you whether or not you should do it or cast the Chaos Bolt, and hopefully, once again, this proves how powerful Weakauras are and how crazy things you can do with Weakauras. And I really hope everyone learned something from this video. So I'm just gonna sign off, and I'm gonna say that we're streaming Throne of Thunder on Wednesdays, Sundays, and Mondays, and there's a lot of fun going in there, and you should totally go check it out. But besides that, I'm just gonna sign off, and hope this helps, and see ya. Take care. Bye bye.